I'm here with Paige Olson, the Engage Creative Play expert. This video is part of the series on why libraries are still relevant in modern society. Paige, we were talking about non-fiction books and how children utilize those in their creative play.
Right, and one of the ones I'd like to share with you that we actually purchased, we checked it out a bazillion times from the library literally, is this Travel West in a Covered Wagon.
Okay.
A part of the reason that this book was so interesting is our family did some wagon travel. They didn't come all the way west, but they did some travel out of the east partway and things like that I've been told. And so my children found this fascinating. And what we did, and these children were under the age of 6, and we would read this and we'd talk about it and we'd experiment with it and we'd play it, and it got to the point where we actually took some no-ends toys we had just because we had them, but you could take a cardboard box, and then we took cardboard boxes and we would label them, you know, bacon, and we look in the book and what did they take with them, and flour, and we had bed sheets that we'd make, and they would replicate and pack their Conestoga wagon and build their campfire and say this is horse dung or cow dung or whatever, and this is, and we figured out ways to be able to hang a basket and make the stew and all those things by just using what we had. Mm-hmm. And then they slept in it. So it became this real life experience in their own way, with dictating certain items being representative of certain things. They experienced, or were allowed to experience, their own understanding of what it might have been like on the Oregon Trail. And it was really fun to watch. It was really fun to be a part of. And it went on for days, and then we'd go away from it, and then they might come back to it with another understanding. But that's really the cool thing about this, is the understanding, and that real people lived this, and they could experience it if they wanted.
Yeah. So it was just this thing that they built in the living room out of couch cushions and sheets and stuff and boxes and so forth, right. And they made a big adventure out of this whole thing.
They really did. And
you were telling me that one time you lost power, and how that story came about.
We actually ended up with a leak in our natural gas system that fed the house. And luckily we had a monitor, so we knew there was a leak. And we lost the natural gas for a week, which meant, no heat and no hot water. And so we were able to take the adventures of this and play, and they loved it. Boiling water on the stove for a bath, and although we used the tub, and how much water, and boiling silverware, and we took this that opportunity to experience this kind of life for another week in a new dimension. I mean, they were glad when the week was over, and they understood that months and months and months could drag on, and so it gave them again a new concept. But instead of going to a hotel or whatever, we just turned it into fun based on a book like this. And when they were much older, we went and visited some relatives of ours, and we decided we wanted to play down at the river where we knew there was this little feeder creek, and we went into town, and they remembered this. And we bought some things to make sandwiches, and one first thing we did when we got there, in the side creek, they built a refrigerator. So they had remembered their books about this and about pioneering, and they built this refrigerator. I didn't do any of this. They even instigated the thought and the idea, Mom, we can do this, this will be fun. And they were had so much fun building the refrigerator and all the things that went into water flow and not losing the food and stuff. And then they went and played, and when they were ready, the food was cold, and it was great. And it all came from reading and participating in, engaging in nonfiction type books.